And this country does not actually care about kids the way that they portray that they do.
Inside this old warehouse in South Texas, the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol is keeping hundreds of immigrant children in cages created by metal fencing. The U.S. Border Patrol on Sunday allowed us to briefly visit this facility where it holds families arrested at the southern U.S. border, responding to new criticism and protests over the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy and resulting separation of families. At that time, more than 1,100 people were inside the large, dark facility that's divided into separate wings for unaccompanied children, adults on their own, and mothers and fathers with children.
Holy shit, that is a lot of people.
The cages in each wing open out into common areas to use portable restrooms.
Portable restrooms? You mean porta potties? That is so fucking disgusting, bro. They smell like shit. And I bet you $5 that these motherfuckers don't upkeep that shit. At least not in a timely manner.
The overhead lighting in the warehouse stays on around the clock.
It's already bad enough that they're being locked up, but then the lights have to stay on, so they can't even sleep comfortably. Like, come on, bro. Like, why?
The Associated Press, nor any other media organization at the time, was allowed to independently film this facility. The video you are looking at shows us touring around the facility, and it was handed out by the federal government.
Although it would be weird if they wouldn't allow people to go in there and see, but on the other hand, it's also still weird because now, why would people be able to go and tour and shit like that and then get to look at these people like it's a fucking zoo or some shit? I don't know, bro. This whole situation is just fucking weird and unnecessary. And like, I know it's in 2018, but I have yet to see an article or a video or an update on shit like this explaining that these behaviors have stopped.
The Border Patrol told us close to 200 people inside were minors unaccompanied by a parent. Another 500 were family units, that's parents and children. Many adults who crossed the border without legal permission could be charged with illegal entry and placed in jail away from their children.
At that point, just deport the whole family. Because I know that they're not going to put these kids in foster home. They're going to put them in sponsors and shit like that. And look how that ended up.
Nearly 2,000 children have been taken from their parents since Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced the policy, which directs Homeland Security officials to refer all cases of illegal entry into the United States for prosecution. Church groups and human rights advocates have sharply criticized this policy, calling it inhumane.
Yeah, bro, that's definitely inhumane. Criminals get better treatment than this. Because at least when you go to jail, they turn the lights off eventually when you're going to go to sleep. These motherfuckers have the lights on all the time.
Facility behind me is essentially a clearinghouse for these illegal entry cases. When there are families involved, this is a place where families are separated because the parents' next step is to go to federal court. The children then go to facilities that are run by the Department of Health and Human Services, Office of Refugee Resettlement.
Or, I have an idea. Instead of doing this, how about just deport them and kick them off our land, right? I understand, yes, they committed a crime, but our tax dollars are funding this shit. And then our tax dollars are also funding where the kids are going. It's just much easier to just tell them, okay, go back home, instead of separating families and keeping them in cages. You know what I'm saying? Because if they're just getting arrested, look at it this way. People are going to take advantage of that, right? They hate their lives, whatever they're fucking doing over there. So they come here and then they're being given shelter. They're stuck in cages. They're being fed. They're getting a free lifestyle. It's not a good life. But you can see how someone could take advantage of that. If you just kick them out of the land and send them back to where they were. And I'm talking about these are the people that come with kids who are their kids. You kick them out, then our tax dollars can go to something else that's more productive instead of trapping people.
In many cases, the parents are being given handouts on how to find their children once their legal cases are disposed of.
Which could take years, by the way.
But there is really no way to verify how accurate those handouts are and if the parents are having any luck in finding their kids in a timely manner.
which is annoying as hell, by the way, because our tax dollars are funding this, and they don't tell us where our tax dollars are going, and they don't tell us what's happening with these folks, but they're still using your money, my money, and everybody else's money. Anybody who works a job, any taxpayer, funding this shit. Like, that's just not right.